Actually, the entire fossil record is a testament to the predictions of evolutionary biology. As is already plainly clear, we are going to have to wade through a lot of nonsense in this segment.
Darwin said that he believed the fossil record would show transitional species, like the long sought-after missing link, a creature that would be something more than an ape, but less than a human.
Darwin predicted that transitional fossils would be found, and many have.
Darwin knew his thoughts about evolution would stand or fall on whether or not these in-between links existed.
There is much more to evolutionary biology than fossils. Nucleotide sequence homology, morphological homology, adaptation, speciation, and extinction are but a few of the other observations which support evolutionary biology.
In fact, it was Darwin himself who warned, unless transitional forms could be found in the fossil record, the theory of evolution is worthless speculation.
Nothing really beats a quote mine based on a misquote. Darwin predicted that the fossil record would show a progression from simple to complex, and it does.
In other words, if evolution was ever going to be proven to be true, it would first have to find fossils that showed these in-between links between various species actually existed.
Again, the fossil record is but one avenue of research into evolutionary biology.
He speculated that when these intermediate fossils were found, they would clearly show the steps from one species to the next.
No. Darwin hypothesized that transitional fossils would share characteristics of two related groups. Many such transitional fossils have been found. Arguably, all fossils, and all living organisms for that matter, are transitional.
That means there would be fossil records of very strange-looking creatures.
Evolution does not require such. However, the fossil record does contain several otherworldly fossils, such as Anomalocaris, a predatory proto-arthropod of the Cambrian era, which could reach lengths up to 2 meters.
Fish with beginnings of legs.
Meet Tiktaalik.
Reptiles with primitive wings.
Meet Archaeopteryx.
And ape-like creatures with human characteristics.
And meet Australopithecus afarensis.
Because my favorite is a platypus. And the reason the platypus is my favorite is because it was discovered in 1797 and sent back to the British Museum, and the British scientists actually thought that some taxidermist had cut up all these different animals and stuck them all back together again.
Dr. George Shaw initially questioned the veracity of the specimen prior to his examination of it. Dr. Shaw was skeptical, as all scientists must be. Dr. Shaw later published the first scientific description of the platypus in 1799.
Because they got this funny-looking creature that had a bill like a duck.
No. The bill of a platypus is at best superficially similar to that of a bird, if you have no understanding of anatomy.
And a beaver-like tail.
No. Unlike a beaver, the tail of a platypus is not scaly. Like the Tasmanian devil, a platypus uses its tail to store fat.
Hair like a bear and web feet like an otter.
No. The layered hair of a platypus is adapted to serve as insulation for its aquatic environment. The webbing of its feet is more similar to that found in birds.
Claws like a reptile, laid eggs like a turtle, feeds a shung of milk like a mammal, has spurs like a rooster, and poison like a snake.
Not even close. First, the spurs of the platypus are in no way homologous to those of a rooster. Second, the venom of a platypus is composed of over 250 compounds. However, the 4 major active components are defensins. Defensins are small peptides which are part of the immune system. 3 of the 4 are completely unique to the platypus. Additionally, unlike the venom of a snake, that of a platypus has no necrotizing ability.
Now, if you found an animal like that, you'd think somebody had stitched all these animals together. But in actual fact, this is a beautifully designed little creature.
Nope. Monotremes are not very well adapted. In fact, there's only 3 extant species remaining. Like most of the natural fauna of Australia, they can be easily displaced by invasive mammals.
And you see, the interesting thing is this. If you're going to believe in evolution and believe one kind of animal changed into another, and here you have one that has features of reptiles, birds, and mammals, you have to believe it almost evolved from everything.
That straw man was just sad. Is Mr. Ham even trying anymore?
But the reason it's my favorite creature is because I think every time an evolutionist looks at the platypus, I think God smiles because I think he made it just for them.
So, what does evolutionary biology say about the platypus? Monotremes were an early divergence from mammals. The platypus possesses characteristics of early therian mammals, such as gait, limbs attached at sides, and leathery eggs. It also possesses classical mammalian characteristics, such as hair, mammary glands, and endothermy. The most shocking transitional characteristic is found in the sex chromosomes. The platypus possesses 10 sex chromosomes, with the XY, 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 XY arrangement resulting in a male. The platypus does not use the SRY developmental pathway found in other mammals. While the exact process of sex determination remains unknown, a region of one Y chromosome contains portions of the ZZ-ZW sex developmental pathway found in modern birds. Evolutionary biology is capable of explaining all of these observations. Mr. Ham dismisses these amazing findings as his deity's notion of a joke. In order to preserve the sanity of you, the viewer, we are going to quickly summarize Miss Folger's outright lies. She claims that there are no transitional fossils, and repeats that claim 7 times over the course of 2 minutes. Richard Milton, Dwayne Gish, and Ken Ham then chime in to repeat the claim once, twice, and once again, respectively. Then, Mr. Ham launches into a non sequitur about coelacanths. A few scientists are quote-mined. Mr. Ham invokes the magic of kinds 3 times. However, he fails to click his heels while doing so it still doesn't work. And another scientist is quote-mined.
The evolutionists realize that they can no longer rely on the fossil record to give them any support.
So, does the fossil record support common descent? Let us see if we can trace the evolution of a rather well-known organism through the fossil record. Let us begin our all-too-brief glimpse at but a few of the known transitional fossils. We're going to be starting with the invertebrate to vertebrate transition. Pikaia is one of the earliest known fossils with a proto-notochord. Uninozoan is a hemichordate, showing quite a bit of increased complexity and development over Pikaia. Hycoella is an early chordate. While lacking bones and movable jaws, it does possess other characteristics of modern vertebrates, such as gills, a brain, notochord, heart, and a circulatory system. Conodonts were eel-like organisms with eyes and fins with fin rays. They're known largely by their teeth. In the picture below, you can see a sampling of the different teeth on the head of a pin. Here, we see 2 examples of primitive fish. Placoderms were not only one of the earliest jawed fishes, but they were also one of the earliest vertebrate predators. Acanthodians shared characteristics of both bony fish as well as cartilaginous fish. Urolepis is a bony fish, which was the common ancestor to both modern ray-finned fish as well as lobe-finned fish. Osteolepis is an early lobed-finned fish already showing an amphibian-like skull and teeth. Eusthenopteron possessed an amphibian-like skull, but more importantly, the bones and muscle attachments of its fins were becoming extremely similar to those found in tetrapod limbs. Panderichthys was very tetrapod-like, possessing a flattened body as well as foot-like fins. When we come to Acanthostega, we see that the fin-to-foot transition is almost complete. In Tiktaalik, we see that the fins now possess wrist and finger bones, which are adaptations for bearing weight. Additionally, Tiktaalik possesses a neck, as well as lungs and gills. In Ichthyostega, we see that the shoulder and pelvis have also become very tetrapod-like. Additionally, it possesses a robust rib cage extremely similar to that found in tetrapods. Charoplax is representative of early land amphibians. The skull bone patterns remain similar to Ichthyostega, and the remnants of gills can be found at the neck. Proterogyrenus possessed an amphibian-like skull, but the limbs and spine were beginning to take on reptilian characteristics. In Solenodonsaurus, we see the loss of the lateral line on the head. Elanomus and Paleothyrus are both small, lizard-like organisms, which retained an amphibian-like skull.